Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Graves updated complete guide. Now with the latest buffs to junglers, I thought it was an apt time to take a look at an updated guide of a jungler. But of course before we get into it, don't forget to check out Graves' basic guide. I'll put them in the cards above for his skills, leveling order tips and tricks, as well as a couple of combos. But with that said, now let's go straight into it. So now, the best way you want to go with Graves is you normally want to start off with a lethality item. So taking a look at the top players here, you basically have a choice between Yomu's as well as Duskblade, and I think both work very well. With Duskblade, you get more raw damage, as you get more AD and more armor penetration from Duskblade, as well as, of course, getting that extra passive where you of course deal a bonus burst damage and then you get the invisibility on takedown. Now I personally like to go Duskblade as my first item, but with Yomu's you get a lot of benefit as well. Now one of the main benefits of Yomu's is the movement speed that you get. So if I can actually find it, with Yomu's you get a little bit less in terms of armor penetration and AD. Actually, wait a minute, you actually get more AD on Yomu, so that's actually not what I thought. But anyways, you get a little less armor penetration, but you don't get that passive that gives you the burst damage. You instead get the momentum passive that gives you movement speed, which helps you rotate more easily around the map and run, over to objectives or whatnot a little bit easier. And you also get the extra attack speed when you proc it. So both of them have their own pros and cons, but I think they're relatively close because they basically both give you lethality and AD. So they're relatively similar in that sense. Then, after you rush your lethality item, first you can go for boots. Now, normally this is going to be the Gluttonous Grease for the AD and the Omni Vamp. And then you're going to go into another lethality item, which is going to be the Collector. And the Collector, of course, gives you a pretty nice stat line, gives you a decent amount of AD as well as that armor penetration, allowing you to get that early game burst damage with the armor penetration and then transitioning into a crit build. So, of course, with the crit build, probably the best crit item in the game is Bloodthirster. Of course, gives you the defensive capabilities with the shield and the defensive stats, as well as of course giving you that bonus physical vamp and just a very nice stat line. And then of course the standard last two crit items, i.e. for the extra damage on crits, as well as more reminder for the armor pen and the grievous wounds. Now you can of course swap the order of these two around depending on the situation of the match. Now for the runes, I like to go for Fleet Footwork here. Now Fleet Footwork just gives you sustain throughout your clear, as well as giving you the extra movement speed just to chase people down or even to run away. But most importantly, actually, you get that extra attack speed, which helps you get off your burst combo a lot faster, which is very, very underestimated when it comes to that little bit of attack speed that you get from that one auto attack on Fleet Footwork. Now, because Graves doesn't actually auto-attack all that much, most people actually like to take Gathering Storm. You can see all the top players are pretty much taking Gathering Storm except this guy who's gone for Domination. But you want to basically take Gathering Storm just for that a little bit of AD you get throughout the game. Not really the best rune, but it is what it is, right? Because you want access to Giant Slayer to deal with tanks, as well as Alacrity for the extra attack speed to get off your autos more quickly. And then, of course, Overgrowth, pretty much the best secondary rune for any jungler, gives you a ton of HP over the course of the game when you kill jungle monsters. And of course, with the spells, you pretty much have no option. It's going to be Flash Smite since you are the jungler, right? So anyways, with all that said, now let's take a look at the gameplay. Okay, so move on to the gameplay section of the video. Now, of course, as usual, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Of course, I will be sure to address them or drop a like. So with the usual jungle trick, dropping a control ward on the red buff and then changing over to sweeper, changing over to sweeper, and then running to the blue buff. Of course, nowadays, the standard jungle clear is to start off on the blue side and then clear towards red, and then go for skull or gank. And the reason you normally want to do this as the jungler is because with red buff previously, you used to like to get it early on just to get a faster clear, but nowadays most junglers can clear without any issue. Like this, you can see the buff hasn't really even hit me. Graves one of the fastest clearers and one of the easiest jungle clears you can do. Just cutting the buff around, he's gonna get in. The buff's gonna get in auto here or there, but pretty much you can clear the buff without any real issue, and basically just still full HP. And you basically want to just clear from blue to red, and then when you get the red buff, it's going to last longer and it's going to be present when you actually go in for your gank and any early fights that you have. You're still going to have that red buff, and it's going to come in very, very handy in terms of slowing people down, as well as just getting off some extra damage. So being sure to queue into the wall there just for an even faster clear. And now moving over to the other side. Now there you saw I actually just dashed there, and that's because I start off, and you should be starting off E when you clear with Graves. And you're gonna stack up your grid stack. So when you're transitioning over from blue to red side, or even red to blue side if you start off with red, you're gonna need to dash to maintain your grid stacks. And the reason why you want that to be the case is because if you encounter the enemy jungler who is in most of the time an AD champion at the river, then you want that extra armor that you get from your E in order to actually win the fight against them. So here I'm just full clearing and I'm reaching over to the Krugs. I see a fight kind of semi breaking out here. I drop the Krugs and I rotate over to the fight, making my way in, dashing over. Now I get the flash from Senna. Varus just walks away. Unfortunately, we don't really actually get anything out of this, and I'm going to rotate back over to just doing the skull. Now I have revealed my position, so the enemy jungler, who is Twitch, should now know that I am on this side of the map. Now he could be literally anywhere because he could be in stealth, so I don't necessarily, see him. I'm just sweeping here to see if there's any ward on this side of the map because I'm planning on maybe ganking mid here. Control ward does come down as well. And now that I don't really have anything to do here, now I'm actually just ticked over to level 5. I still have the red buff in hand, but I don't actually really have anywhere to gank now. I'm expecting that Twitch would have taken the top lane skull, but since I've cleared so fast and don't actually have any lanes to really gank right now, I'm actually going to check if top lane skull is up. Now I realize it's not taken, so now I'm just going to go ahead and just do it, and I see Twitch actually ganking right now. So I'm going to smite the skull, get myself over there into the lane, and back up my Garen, who is in a little bit of trouble. Now, they line up perfectly for me to hit a very nice Q on the wall. I get the kill onto him. Now, Twitch is in a little bit of trouble. Now, I'm getting blocked by the minions. I flash auto and ulti, and the red buff actually kills the Twitch. So this is where I'm talking about how red buff can come in very handy with the slow and with the damage. And in that case, if I didn't have the red buff, I wouldn't actually have gotten the kill onto the Twitch. So, very successful counter gank there from myself. Very opportunistic. Honestly, I obviously didn't plan to do that. I just saw Twitch and I adapted immediately by going into the lane to put a stop to whatever he was trying to do. Now, the best part of that is that Garen actually survives and is able to then push in the wave and runs away before, before Twitch or Volley can actually trade onto him. And then I'm back to full clearing my blue side, and then I can get a recall and pick up my Dustblade. So with this new jungle changes, the 1000 HP smite, getting more gold from jungle monsters and things like that, the name of the game is efficiency. You want to be able to farm your own jungle and then gank in between farming so that you don't waste any gold on the map by ensuring that all your camps are down when you gank. There, the red buff took so long to spawn that I actually ended up wasting my Q on nothing. But you definitely want to try your best to farm up your whole jungle if possible and then go make a play. Now, it's not ideal to make a play when your jungle camps are all up because then you're just wasting gold on the map because it's literally free gold, and if you don't take it, the respawn timer is not going to start, so you're going to end up with less gold overall. So fight breaks out there, Varus ends up going down. I'm trying to chase Senna. Senna flashes away. Turns out every time I get into the lane, I force a summoner spell, which is not nothing, but it's definitely not great because I'm not really able to do anything. Now here I'm invading the Twitch's jungle to just get his timers and to check if anything is up. Now normally you don't want to walk all the way to the wolves. Now here I'm seeing if we can get a dive off on Senna since we know that Varus has only just respawned. I'm trying to make my way in there, but I don't really think we can do anything, especially since Graves gets blocked by the tower, so I can't actually auto the Senna, so I decide not to do anything too risky and let my bot lane reset because they've just gone a kill onto Varus. They probably would need to go back and spend their gold, so they're not going to force it. Right now I'm going to go back onto the map and I see Twitch trying to make a play top again. Now I realize that I can make my way over there instead of farming my jungle, so I'm now going there. Twitch realizes, oh no, he's in trouble again, and down he goes. He ends up just dying to me again on another counter gank. Garen, of course, does an amazing job of staying alive, and I'm just ruining the Twitch's day just by basically showing up wherever he is. Now, I suspect he has cleared parallel to me, which means that while I started blue, I think he started red and cleared to the blue side, which is why we're always on opposite. As in, we always end up ganking the exact same lane. That's very common if the enemy jungler starts on the opposite buff of you. So you guys would be clearing towards the same lane, and then you guys would show up at the same lane at the same time. Here I'm ignoring my blue buff because I already got Twitch's blue buff, and I want to quickly secure the Herald before anyone comes to contest. Now this is a bit dangerous because I can see Twitch over here, and Volley has lane priority because Garen has just based. So Here I'm trying to hopefully just do it before Twitch comes in. Now Twitch is coming. Now I'm going to change my focus onto the Twitch here because I want to kill the Twitch first. Now I end up barely securing the objective and killing the Twitch as well. Now Victor now shows up, but honestly at this point, I don't really need help anymore because I was happy to just kill Twitch and run away. Now instead they're trying to chase onto the volley bear, which is not really what I care too much about. I rather just secure the mid lane tower, get that goal injection, and then rotate over to the dragon and maybe even take that double objective. The Twitch here, who is having a very bad day, 0-3 and 0 scoreline, died to me 3 times, and I have 3k gold up on him just from my efficient farming, in addition to the opportunistic counter ganks that I was able to get on him. Now, it appears that I am on vision, but it doesn't really matter because he can't really get close enough to contest before I smite it. Now, he finds himself once again in trouble and nearly gets bursted down by me. Or he does die anyway, but not to me. But he's down 0-4 and 0 at not even 1 item yet when I'm already almost towards my second item. I haven't based in a very long time, just getting gold from the kills and the tower and the farm here, but I really want to clear red side so I can reset and go over back to blue side where a lot of the action seems to be happening. And also my bot lane is having no trouble by themselves. They're stomping the Varus and Senna here without any real issue, so they don't actually really need my help. Now, of course, snowballing winning lanes is something you always want to do as a jungler, but in this case, ganking the top lane has been so successful that I'm thinking of just ganking the top lane more. Now, unfortunately, Garen looks like he's finally going to cop a death here, and I pick up both the collector and the boots, but a little bit too late to help out the Garen here. Now I check if Twitch is invading my jungle after getting the kill, which sometimes does happen. He's not actually doing so, which is just as well for him because I'm gonna show up and ruin his day again if he even tries. So here I'm finally going to take my own blue buff into, of course, doing the Grom. Skull is up as well, so I'm definitely going to go for that after I clear my blue side. And again, if Twitch shows up, he is just going to find himself in a world of hurt. So best not to show up here. So since Garen is going to the other side of the map, this farm is not going to be taken by anybody, so I'm just going to take the farm. And I'm going to see if I can find any farm on Twitch's side of the jungle. Now, I've been spotted by the ward there, and I am aware of that, so I don't want to do anything too risky, just getting all the jungle timers. I'm seeing if I can get a play on mid lane, popping the ulti onto the Annie, hoping that it does enough damage with the help of the collector as well. But unfortunately it does not, so we don't actually end up getting the kill on her, but we are going to secure this tower pretty easily. And we probably want to make our way out here. However, our whole team is kind of converging on our location, so it looks like a little bit of a fight is going to maybe happen here with everybody around. Quite common that when everybody is around, fights just randomly break out for no reason over like nothing basically. So a little bit difficult to get the inhibitor tower at this point, so we're not going to try to do that. Now here I see my team in a bit of trouble. I put a nice smoke screen down to block off enemy vision. Now I don't really want to get into a 2v4 at this point. Now Soraka is now with me, healing me up against the Volley Bear. Volley Bear is doing a lot of damage though. We're able to secure the kill on him with the help of the Soraka, and now we're going to hit back and get a little bit of fruit. Now I'm thinking I might be able to turn back around and help out with the fight. But I then second guess myself and think that, you know what, let me just go farm. Like, there's no fight actually happening here, so I'm not gonna waste time just walking around the mid lane doing nothing. Instead, I have camps that are up, so I can just secure these camps. So this is exactly the game plan of a jungler that I'm talking about, especially a farming jungler, which I'm a lot better at, like the Nilas and the Graves of the world, compared to ganking junglers like Jarvan, which I didn't just make a guide on, but I'm definitely better at farming junglers than ganking junglers because I love to maximize my farm. So just farming in between and then making plays in between that. And you can see I now have 10k gold in 10 minutes. So there's 1k gold per minute. I secure my Bloodthirster, and I'm trying to make my way over to help my team from the rampaging Volley Bear, who's now like 1v3, 1v4 at the moment. And now we're just dashing in, easy kill onto the Volley Bear. Just 2 shots into the back and he goes down. And now seeing if we can get anything else. Unfortunately, the root connects onto the Garen, so Garen cannot really do anything after that. He goes in randomly there. I'm just going to kind of ignore that. But the fight is now breaking out at the enemy side of the jungle. I was initially thinking this is a very bad fight because it's a very outnumbered fight. So I'm not really interested in participating in fights that I don't think we can win. Thankfully, only the Garen dies, and Baron is now up. So I'm just scanning the pit to see if they have any vision. They don't actually have any vision. I'm just going to hop over the wall, just one-shot this Varus, one-shot this Senna, and we can just clear this wave and then get a free and easy Baron. So once again, just making sure to maximize my farm and just making sure to opportunistically just go in and get kills. Now, Ward does come down into the pit. Now, I'm tanking the Barons. I'm actually doing very little damage to Baron, unfortunately, but no one is really stepping up to tank. Soraka ideally should be standing on top of Baron, so she tanks the Baron and we can DPS the Baron faster. But Volley Baron now just comes in. I'm going to smite to secure or rather, I smite and don't secure the Baron, which is quite embarrassing, but we are able to secure the kills. Now I'm just going to flash the wall here, finish off the Twitch once again very easily, and I'm on the double, trying to chase down for more. Varus goes down, Senna goes down as well, so we do lose the Baron, but we did get a triple, which is not very ideal, right? Like, we do want the Baron at this point because our team is winning so hard. With the Baron we could push down towers. We're at 15k go up, and not sure what happened there, but you know, I'm not a jungle main, so smiting skills definitely need some working on. But we are able to secure the mid lane inhibitor and the top lane inhibitor, and we can even start hitting the actual Nexus itself. But it's going to be very difficult to end the game here because they have Baron, and it's very hard to push in onto the Baron. A little bit of a mini fight breaks out in the top lane, throwing on the smoke screen on Twitch to make sure he can't DPS anybody anymore, and then just hitting him with that damage. Same thing to Varus. You can see I'm basically two-shotting people at this point, but I'm not doing enough damage to the base to actually end the game. So I'm starting to think that, you know, maybe trying to end here is not the way to go here. But I'm just farming the minions as they come out. Annie tries to finish off the Garen, doesn't quite get it. I'm just farming the minions as they come out, but then I realized that, you know what, let's not push it and let's just get a reset. Right? I'm not even gonna counter jungle the enemy team's jungle because I don't want to lose out on the tempo that I have. I'm gonna reset, get the entire IE, and then get a stasis as well, just for the extra defensive capabilities. Now my entire blue and red side jungle is up at this point because I've spent so much time in the enemy base I haven't really been farming. So I'm just looking to just get my farm before anything happens on the map. Of course, I must be very aware of what my team is doing, and if they're making a play or whatnot, I do want to be there because obviously I do a ton of damage at this point with 15k gold in like 13 minutes into the game. Got a little bit caught out there, so I popped the stasis. But with the help of my team, we were able to clean up that fight there, and now we can push onto the final inhibitor that we don't yet have, securing it like so. And at this point, if the enemy team makes a mistake and dies, we can easily end the game. But the issue is we don't want to make a mistake and throw the game to them either. Now Annie just randomly dashes in, gets one shot by Victor. Twitch getting blinded by me once again, trying his best to DPS all of us, but dies to Victor. Dies to Victor's damage, and now we're trying to end the game. Volibear tries to go in to save the game, doesn't really work out. Getting blocked by the minions though. I'm trying to hit the Nexus, there we go, and we finally end the game like so. So I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.